Because we have what are called like our doctoring exams going on right now. I had mine yesterday, so thankfully mine is over. So taking a load off for sure. But you'll see them all over today and like this afternoon, and we'll have to get in and out of the skills center pretty quickly. And they talk to you, they blink, they have a pulse, everything, and we can just really work with them as if we're working with a real patient. Some other things that we do in there, we have suture sessions. We work on actually tying surgical knots. And we'll also go in there and we have various other skill sessions with organizations.
You mentioned that there are 2 operating rooms fully functional.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a great space for us to learn in.
Sure.
And so one thing that you'll see here, it's a little messed up right now because we're actually through what we do for our anatomy lab. We do anatomy all throughout our first semester. There are 40 tanks over here that hold 40 cadavers for us. And because we're a class of 240, we're split into teams of 6. And we come in twice a week, and we have basically 2 teams of 3 within that team of 6, where one team will dissect on Tuesday, and then when we come in on Wednesday, that team will teach the other half, and then that half will stay and dissect, and then they basically rotate and repeat the process every week. And so we actually go through a full head-to-toe dissection throughout our first semester here in medical school. We are one of the few schools that still do that, and I'm extremely grateful for it. Anatomy is by far my favorite subject. I absolutely loved it.
It is my favorite, and that takes me 30 years back.
Fair enough. It was something I was really passionate about. I came in here every Saturday. Our faculty and our staff here are just like beyond anything, coming in at all hours of the day and night in order to teach us and make sure that we understand what's going on.
It's the most interesting part in medicine.
I agree.
You learn on the human body.
And one thing for me in particular is like it's one thing when you're looking at like a cross section, you're like, oh yeah, that's a vein. Okay, great. Whereas like when you're actually doing the dissection and you accidentally cut that vein, never gonna forget that again. Never gonna forget that that's there, and I shouldn't be cutting that deep, and or a nerve, and like how thin and fragile some of these structures are. You just don't get the sense and the feel for it without actually like being the one to do it. And I am extremely grateful for that. I'm interested in doing surgery, so that's one thing in particular that like I would never.
That's what we do, and our group is involved in it. So, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And then one thing, so we finished anatomy basically all of our first semester. The one thing we don't do is dissect the brain. We save the brain for second year, and so we do a brain dissection during our neuro module in our second year. And then also one thing that they can do is where the second years can come back as pedagogues. So they come and they help teach the students because 240 students is a lot. And while our staff is amazing, it's a lot of students for them to handle. So they'll bring back about 12, I think it is, like second years who act as pedagogues and help teach and help the first years get through that first semester.
That's impressive.
Yeah, of course. So one of the things that I really like about this, I mean, the name is, as it suggests, it is every learning resource we could possibly need. If we look that way, we have, copiers, fax machines, printers, everything there. And then looking on the other side, we have a lot of individual cubicles. So we can come in with our UT laptop and we can hook up. A lot of people don't have, desktop monitors and keyboards and things like that at home. And so they can actually hook up and have a bigger screen to get work done back there and have an individual study time. It's also nice because there's a lot of windows. I know a lot of students like to come here because it actually has light, whereas I like to study in the basement because it's dark and quiet.
It's more lively.
Yeah. So this is a bit more lively. And then what we can do is we can actually walk through and you can take a look. It's quiet back there, but as we come back along this hallway, I can probably tell you all a bit more about it. And so we're actually going to be changing this space back here into more of a collaborative study space. We have these lovely posters of ideas.
This is our renovation plan. It's going to be, 21st century, 5-star.
And one of the great things is that students are getting to vote on this. So it's very apparent that students' feedback is actually taken into account and actually used in the progress of the school. You see it all over the school, but this is just one of many examples where it's very apparent right now because we're all voting on this to decide how we want to change the LRC. So it's exciting. And so you can see we have Mario Kart and video games. We have a foosball table back there. We also have just various eating spaces, and we have the refrigerators and microwaves back there for students to come over and just hang out, have lunch. It's very lively right now because it's lunchtime. The other nice thing about this is that where we're going to go next is actually the hospital. So we're just like 100 feet away from the hospital, and so when we're students, in our third and fourth years, and we're working at the hospital, we can't exactly use the physician's lounge or the resident's lounge because we are not those things. And so it's nice to just have like a space like this for the student lounge to be able to come over and have lunch and relax just 100 feet away from the hospital. So this is another good space for us to just relax and like have a moment away from studying. We now have actually 6 helicopters with light flights, one of which is completely dedicated to And we service all the way over from, I think it's close to San Antonio. I think it's like Smithville, all the way over to Baton Rouge. And so we have a huge geographical area that brings patients in, which makes us the #1 trauma center in America, which is great for learning, even if you don't want to do trauma. And a huge part of that is because of Dr. Duke. One thing that I like, and I like to tell our future students about, is like when you're shadowing in the emergency room or shadowing in the operating room, you can like look down at the floor and they put 2 red boots in the tile on the ground. And that's just cool. It's a memory of him.
When Katie visited for the first time in our office, we were talking about the scholarship. At that time, I shared something with you which she recalled and she reminded me of, and I wanted to share with you. My father was a professor of biology, so he passed away in 2007, but he was head examiner of the botany and biology in his state and city in Pakistan. So that was my inspirational. Everything is coming from there.
Yeah.
So he was head examiner of Punjab, for the whole state and everything. So I've seen him helping a lot of patients and the students and stuff like that. So he taught us pre-med, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I feel very intrigued and very excited about helping a medical school right now to create an endowment so that we can flourish in my name and continue to be. And my kids will see that.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So.
And we're incredibly grateful. I in particular am a scholarship recipient coming in during my first year here, so I can tell you what an impact it makes on students. It was incredible to come in and have a scholarship and have finance to be one fewer thing, one less thing that I had to worry about. So thank you for everything.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure. It's. I think it was the only right thing to do because my father has helped. I remember there was a very poor student who reached out to him and said that I cannot reach out to you because I'm in different classes and stuff like that. So there are other biology professors as well, but I wanted to learn from you. So that gentleman became not only a doctor, but he went on genetic engineering program in Switzerland. So I still talk to him whenever I visit Pakistan back. I call him and we chat about those days, and he still remember that how my father was helpful. So I think this is the only right thing to do. And I was earlier sharing with Katie that this medical center is an asset to the rest of the world, not only Houston, Texas.
Yeah. And you supporting the training of those future providers that will be part of it is very important because sometimes otherwise they may not pick this profession, and you need good doctors to be
absolutely
in this.
Absolutely.
So thank you for your scholarship.
And I plan to do much more than just this endowment and scholarship. But I'm grateful to you to bring me this opportunity so that we could contribute. I mean, this medical center has given me a lot. I did my master's from here, another PhD from here, and so this made me double doctorate from here.
Yeah.
Today is a great day in my life, and I'm remembering my father who was helping a lot of students, and accordingly, I got motivated. And I really appreciate Catherine Ball from UT, McGovern School of Medicine. And where a lot of students are, we took the tour today, gave us insight, how this scholarship works, how this is helpful to them. Katie may like to say something, but I want to thank you for this opportunity to the UP Medical Center, where I am able to create a scholarship in my name so that it will grow as an endowment in future years in the amount of $200,000, which was matched. And obviously, it will help a lot of students. Every year it will help some students, but down the road, there will be a lot of students who will be helping for the rest of my life and coming years. So
yes, thank you. We're so grateful for Dr. Chaudhry and establishing this endowment honors your father to help students and train the next generation of healthcare professionals. As you know, student tuition is very expensive, and financial assistance is super powerful to them pursuing a career in medicine. And now your legacy and your father's legacy can live on in perpetuity. And on behalf of the Office of Development and the medical school, McGovern, thank you so much. And we're excited to have this partnership with you and watch it grow.
It's like she said, it's a great partnership, and I really am intrigued about this opportunity and really grateful that I'm able to help some students down the road. Thank you.